What's good, YouTube? I'm currently in Decatur here at Major Kutz. I'm about to do an interview with somebody that I met doing a kind of like voluntary work. We basically did some haircuts for some kids and students at a detention center in the area, not too far from where I'm at today. Basically, we're gonna do an interview with Mr. Diwan Majors. He's a dope barber, man, and I just hope we can get a little bit of insight and, figure out where he got his start and then what keeps his motor going. So stay tuned. What's good, man?
How you doing, man? I've been alright. How about yourself?
Been good, man. Like I said in the intro, we met at the detention center. We was pretty much doing volunteer services, like doing haircuts for the kids in there or whatever. And just some of the conversations we were having and some of the things you were saying kind of pushed me towards like trying to get this interview.
Okay.
Just to get to know you a little bit better and then give everybody else that follows me a perspective of like how many people that we have in the industry that I feel of quality and kind of got a message to tell people because the way it started and what caught my attention is the last haircut that we did. When I said to this one dude that he said he was a rapper, and I was telling him that you probably shouldn't get into it for the money, and then you turn around and said the exact same thing, and then his eyes kind of opened up to that. So I guess my first question would be, man, do you consider this to be still a profession, or do you look at it as a hustle?
No, it's a profession. Like, as an instructor, one of the main things I used to focus on was telling people it's not a hustle. I hate the word hustle. You know what I'm saying? Although once you do become a barber, you have to hustle to get your money. You can't just sit around and not get your money. But barbering itself is not a hustle.
Right.
And I say that because I used to hustle. You know what I'm saying? And the way that go, a hustle is anything that sells right now. So if people are getting haircuts right now, you cutting hair. But the minute they stop coming, you're not a barber no more.
Right.
Like, I got to go do something else. The money not coming in. But if you treat it like a career, then you start to go into the different things that are inside of barbering that make it a career and not just a hustle. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
You get to not only cutting hair, but you get to doing your facials. You get to doing women's hair. You basically get to doing any and everything you're taught. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's my big thing behind the hustle. I hate barbering as a hustle or a side job because you don't respect it. And when you don't respect it, other people don't respect it.
Exactly. And then I'm glad you touched on that because I'm also a barber instructor too, and I've never like put it that way to my students, but I did tell them that you get out of it what you put into it.
Right.
And then if, like you said, if you treat it like a hustle, that's what it's always going to be because you're going to operate in fear of like, well, this money might not always be here. So along the lines of you being an instructor, like I tell everybody, I don't teach for the money.
Right.
I teach because I felt like when I came out of barber school, it was in Florida, and I went to North Florida Cosmetology.
Okay.
And great school or whatever, like I learned a lot of the stuff that I needed to pass the test or whatever, but when I came out, I didn't feel like I had the tools I needed to survive in the game, you know what I mean? Because I went to a barbershop and there's people in there cutting circles around me. And I can, I'm struggling with all over even. So, and I tell my students, I tell people, like, it don't matter where you start. Like, if you put the dedication and the repetition into it, it'll come. So with that being said, one, are you licensed? And two, do you still feel it's important?
Yes, it's extremely important. I now hold a license as a master barber, a master cosmetologist, and an instructor. And I'm getting ready to go to state board to get the instructor cosmetologist. Licenses are very important because to me, you can't do something and make it a profession and you good at it if you're not licensed at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then once you, like, anything you learn, anything you can do with your hands, you can learn. You know what I'm saying? Enough times you do it, it's not about that. But when you want to go upper level and you start going into these different businesses, like Atlanta is booming now with the movies. They won't take you if you don't have a license.
Exactly.
Like, you go into a barbershop, the barbershop owner, you know what I'm saying, some may do it, but if he's prestigious, he doesn't want to deal with the fact that state board might come in there and fine him $500 just because you want to come in here and make money.
Right.
But then on top of that, for yourself, If you don't respect it, nobody else will. And respect is showing people paperwork.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your
Yeah.
price tag is showing people paperwork. You want to charge somebody $150, $200 for a haircut, but you haven't done due diligence of going to get your license. You know what I'm saying? And it's the stuff that you learn with your license that helps you respect barbering. It's not the cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't learn how to cut hair in barber school.
Me either.
By the time I went to barber school, I already knew how to cut hair. You know what I'm saying? I was so smart. My instructor used to try to make me cut hair with my other hand because I felt like I knew everything.
Yeah.
But then he started putting me on other stuff. He helped me learn my cleaning and sanitation, my chemical texture services. You know, all the stuff to make you respect what it is that you're doing,
Right.
and you can give that information. Because
Right.
information is the price tag, not the service.
Oh yeah, definitely. Integrity, man, and then doing what is best for the client.
Always.
I went to school with a guy, I won't say his name, but man, he was like top notch with the Clippers or whatever, and he did everything legitimately, and then he decided to go and work in the shop before we graduated. And within 3 weeks, man, he came back, he was a different barber. He was pushing people in lineups back. You know, he was shortcutting stuff to get people to come back faster. I was like, bro, it ain't a need for that. Like, in my opinion, if you give quality service, like, people are going to come back. Like, if you give good conversation and, like you said, good advice, or people can trust what you're saying. Like, I work in a barbershop. It's a salon in the back. And there's people, they be telling them all kind of stuff. I was like, that ain't right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that is not true at all.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like people come to me. Because, like I said, I work in a barbershop with a salon in the back, and there's still young men and young women that come to me, and they prefer me to color their hair because it don't fall out at the end of the month. So that's how I try to teach my students, man. You want to practice integrity, and you want to, you know, up your ticket, and not in a crappy way. You know what I mean? Like, offer that guy who may be 50% great. Like, hey, you want to get rid of that? You know what I'm saying? If you didn't go to school, you don't know you had that option to do that.
Right.
But,
I'm gonna tell you how I learned to cater to people. You know what I mean? I had a barber that I used to cut with. Now, he didn't have no license, but there was in a $5 barbershop that I started in. But he was so good at customer service. Like, he used to mess people up.
Oh, man.
But I used to tell the students, like, I'd be like, man, I said, the crazy thing about it is people don't even really know they getting messed up until they go and get it right. I said, but what was so outstanding about this dude is that he would mess people up, but he had a line out the door. Other barbers that were good would be sitting down.
Yeah.
And you couldn't figure out why, because he was a good person. Everybody that came in, he spoke to them. He knew their kids. He knew their mama. He knew grandmama. You know what I'm saying? Even if he didn't know him, the way he introduced himself or the way he talked to him, by them coming in the door, you wouldn't even ask them if they needed a haircut because they were so engaged with one another. Like, he used to have a line and just sit there like, hey, man, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a while, man. I got like 3 right here, but if you just have a seat, you know, so we got some work art in the back. You have a seat and I get to you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, he was like, man, you couldn't. I thought you was waiting on him. Nah, I just thought he was the only one available.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I got to caring for the people. But once I added that with the fact that I wanted to know what I was doing, it kills the game.
Yeah, that's another thing too, man. I try to teach my students not only get this tool or this technique that I'm teaching you, understand what makes it work and why it works that way and why it's so proficient. And honestly, I got my angle of customer service from just bad experiences, man. Just going to a different city and trying to get a haircut, trying to explain to somebody how I wanted my haircut. Like, I understand you as an artist, you have your vision, and like, if I give you that liberty, then fine. But if I come in and I say, hey man, I want a temp fade, I don't like it bald, and I want to see you next week. Don't cut all my hair off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you do the exact opposite of that, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Right.
And that's honestly how I got my start. Like, I literally left that barbershop in Tallahassee, walked up the hill to Walgreens, bought the cheapest pair of clippers I could find and started cutting my own hair.
All right.
You know what I mean? It went from that to my roommate, and then from my roommate to people in the band, and it just went on from there. But customer service is very important. And then I've been in countless of barbershops, man. You open the door and nobody even speak to you. And it's like, well, how you think the customers feel if like they're not used to this? If they walk in and don't even mention trying to diversify, like, cause
right.
if somebody of the other skin color walking in, you don't say nothing, they walking back out.
But you can see it though. You can see it though. If you sitting in the shop and you watch somebody come in, they're waiting, like they're looking around, waiting to lock eyes with somebody, and then they just sit down. And then once they sit down and everybody talking and interacting, they still waiting for somebody to acknowledge them.
Exactly.
The person that acknowledge, I'm sorry, how you doing? What's your name? They engaged. That's yours.
for life.
For life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But folks don't recognize. That's why I was telling the young man that about money. Because whenever you think about money, you don't put value in anything else. I cut your hair however I need to in order to get the money. You're not even worried about next week. You just want the money for right now.
Right.
Like, you're not even trying to make this person come back. You just want the money for right now. I'm trying to go to the club tonight. I'm trying to get these shoes. I'm going to get this money now. And then next week when dude come in, he be like, hey, boy, what's going on? And he walk straight past you. Hey, what happened? You didn't treat the man right. I used to tell the students one of the biggest things, and it holds true to this day. Whenever you get a new client, if they coming from another barber, one of the things you will hear the most is, my barber never listened to me.
Yeah.
They tell them what they want, and then most barbers are either arrogant, you know what I'm saying, and well, I can do a skin fade, it ain't nothing but a skin fade. I understand, I do a skin fade, but you got to keep my skin fade low because I got a mark right here, and if you come up over it, it's gonna put a line. But then they get into, I know what I'm doing, and you cut it, and now you can't get the line. Now you trying to figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you trying to cut it, and he don't want to line up a sharp line, and you done hit him with a sharp line and put the spray and all that on, and he didn't want that.
Yeah, all my clients that come to me, they know I'm a very literal barber. You sit in my chair, you tell me what you want. I'm pretty much, 9 out of 10, I'm gonna do exactly what you tell me to do.
Yeah.
And that's why people come back. It's like, man, you the only one that's done exactly what I asked. I told a lot of people I got this scar right here. You the only one that's able to mask it. So like, that's why I try to teach people. Like, don't always be so aggressive and eager to put your stamp on everything.
Right.
Like, there's a time and place for everything.
Repetition is key. Like I tell the students, you have to make sure you understand what it is the client wants. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know this one guy asked me, he said, well, how about the ones that's picky and they don't understand? I said, you make sure you repeat it. Then you show them a picture. Then you repeat it again. And then you tell them this is what it's going to look like. So now you have to make sure you clarify. I said, because technically, if they get up and you done gave them something that they didn't want, why should they have to pay for it?
Right.
Like if they asked you for a temp fade and you wasn't listening and now you done cut all their hair off and gave them a skin fade with a part in it, and that's not what they want, I don't care if it look good or not.
Yeah, that's not.
It can be a crispy line, blurry fade, and a part ain't nobody ever did in their life. That's not what he want. That's not what he want. Now I had to get an understanding with that because I would do it for free. If they didn't like it, I'd do it for free. Now I don't like missing out on money.
Right.
But that's the way I discipline myself to make sure I understand that you understand that you know I understand what it is you want.
Right.
That way there's no discrepancy.
No discrepancy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that
And
it
then
all
also,
goes back to what you said, like caring for the client.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, even if they paid me for that one, because it's legitimate people in the world, they understand that we do this for a living. We do this because we got families too. We want to provide for our folks. So even if they do pay me, like, you know what, bro, I appreciate that. If you give me another opportunity, it's on me.
Right.
Like when you come back, I got you. Like your next haircut on me. So I teach them, to be respectful and own up to your mistakes and just try not to make the same mistake twice.
And I had a guy that came in, known him for a long time. And he came in, brought his son, and then one day I was just moving, and he said, "Give him the regular cut." I'm thinking, I'm moving so fast. I thought I heard him say, "Give him a regular cut." So he got the afro, normally get the sponge. Me not listening, cut the clippers on. Bow.
Oh man.
Little boy sink down in the chair immediately. As soon as I hit it, he look in the mirror. So I was like, man, what's going on? What's wrong? His dad turned around. He said, oh, man, what you do? I said, you said the regular haircut. He said, man, his regular, not a regular haircut. So what I did, you know what I'm saying, to compensate off that, I said, look, I made the mistake. Your haircuts will be free until your hair get back to where it's at.
That's what's up.
Because, you know what I'm saying, I made the mistake. I was supposed to be listening. I wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even still, like you said, he's still a good dude. Although he didn't pay the full price for the haircut, he still gave me a tip every time. But it was the integrity that kept him coming back and then referred his friends. And his friends referring to somebody. It's just small stuff like that that help you with a level up. It's not really losing. It's like what you just said. It's taking accountability for your own fault.
That's what's up. Man, and last question, somewhat in closing, I try to ask this to every barber I run in contact with, especially you being an instructor. I pretty much already know your answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway just to, appease the fans or whatever. As a barber, being experienced and an educator, do you feel it's more the tool or the technique?
It's the technique and the tool. You gotta have the technique before the tool, because if you got the technique, you can figure out how to get it done with the tool. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, they look at YouTube, these newer barbers, they all came in, all in one. Well, yeah, 3060 Jeezy did it this way, and he was using this clipper, and he was using it. It don't matter what clipper he using if you don't know how to use it. If you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
I said to somebody, he had every new clipper that had came out last year. I said, "Where's your transition space?" He looked at me. He was like, "My what?"
Don't know. Don't know.
You can have a $500 clipper, bro. If your transition ain't tight, them people ain't coming back.
Mm-mm.
I hate looking at a ball fade that goes from ball to air.
Yeah. Or they got too much, like their margin is too far apart. Like they got a whole bit of negative space right here, and then the fade start up on that side. What is you doing?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But that come from them watching these YouTube videos, which I used to tell students all the time. I said, you have to learn the technique so you can understand the lingo.
Yeah.
I said, now I can watch one of those YouTube videos and I can understand everything he's doing, even if he's not saying anything.
Right.
Like even if his hands are just moving, because I know the technique, I can see where he's taking shortcuts and he's getting done what he needs to get done.
Right.
But he always come back and get this done. If you just get out those clippers and just flick your hand the way he's doing it, I'm not.
No, you're not gonna get it. You don't know what you're looking for.
You don't know what you're doing. For me, is you don't have a beginning and you don't have an end. You don't know where to start at and where you're going. You just cutting and hoping that it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because with clippers, like I used to tell students all the time, like, man, you don't have to go out and buy these $1,000 clippers, $200-$300 clippers. You don't need all that. You know what I'm saying? Even when they was going to the hair shows, I said I was one of them when I first started at my station. I had like 20 pair of clippers. Just because every time I went to the hair show, it was a barber on stage that was doing a clean skin fade, and he would say, "You ain't gonna be able to do a fade unless you got these."
Right.
Go to the next thing. You're not even gonna be able to do a lineup if you ain't got these. And then you get them and you realize that I didn't need them. You know what I mean?
At all.
Like I tell you, there's 4 clippers. Beginners, 4 clippers. You need a serrated blade, a surgical blade, and 2 liners. That's the basics right there, what you need.
It's some people been cutting for 5+ years, don't even know the difference between a serrated and a surgical blade.
Man, that's the thing right there. You know what I'm saying? Like they asked the different clippers. I was like, man, if you shouldn't be asking different clippers, because all brands make the same kind of clippers.
It's about the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? I need to know the motor, the blade.
Yeah.
Once I know the motor and the blade, then I can figure out who I'm going to use it on.
Now, I've seen some people struggle with some fades because they can't figure out why they keep chasing that line.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you change that to that and use this clipper because the blades are different. Line is gone.
Yeah.
And they be looking like, how you know that? Yeah, experience, man. But
that's how it go though. You know what I mean? They just think that, and they don't want to. Like nobody wants to take the time to actually learn how. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say nobody. A lot of the women, they used to come in and go to school. They listen.
Yeah.
Cause I used to tell people, women gonna listen because they're detailed by nature.
Yeah.
So they want to know why.
Yeah.
Men just want to know how to do it.
Yeah, they trying to get to the money.
Yeah, they just want to get it done. The women want to know how.
Yeah.
So they'll see the clipper, like, oh, he had that clipper, I should be able to do this. The woman may go and buy the clipper, but then she want to know, how is this working? How did this do that?
Yeah.
Why come when I pushed it closed, it got that line out, then I opened it up and the next one came out? Like they want to know stuff like that.
Yeah, and I realized like even cosmetologists, like I had the honor and pleasure of like, you know, doing a haircut demo for the cosmetologist at my school.
Yeah.
And I realized that they already have like the know-how.
Mm-hmm.
They already understand what a taper is and what a 45-degree angle is. It's just a matter of getting them out of their own head to let them know you just changing the tube. The same thing you doing with these shears, you just putting a motor behind it. You can do the same thing. You don't have to put a clipper guard on here at all. Use this comb, do your taper the way you want to, save money. That lady don't have to go 2 places. Especially if she just want a line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or the back. There.
Yeah, you know, go with the grain, cut that thing down, line it up. But I wish I would have recorded it the day I was there. Like, I went there to get my hair done, honestly. And it's a girl, like you said, she was moving fast, didn't listen to what the man said. He sat down, he clearly said, I want a skin fade. I don't know what she heard, but that's not what she was doing. So I'm sitting adjacent from her. So she going to town, ain't did nothing that this man asked. So I had to like turn my chair so I couldn't look at it because it was irking me.
Yeah.
And then the Cosmo instructor, well, she said, "What's the problem?" I was like, "Just take the cape off. I'm about to go over here and help her."
Yeah.
So I had to end up doing a ball fade with a pair of taper 2000s and some peanuts. Like I should have recorded it because the fade came out clean.
Yeah, but you had to work for it.
Oh boy, I worked hard for that one.
You had to work and stretch skin and turn that sucker different angles and use the corners.
Man, I worked for that one. Like literally worked for it, but
that's because you knew the technique.
Exactly.
The tool didn't matter.
And that's why I asked that question to every barber I run in contact with, because very seldom you can tell somebody that's gonna say, "Yeah, man, it's the tool." And you know, at some point I turn my ear off.
You just cut hair there. You're not a barber.
But as I expected, bro, this has been amazing.
Yeah.
And I surely hope that, you know, we can do this again. And if not, we can get some other people on that same train and we can just let people know that are inspiring and be barbers, that it is a profession.
Yeah.
And you can go where you want to go if you just put your all into it, you know?
Yeah. Man, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Like it used to, I don't even know if they still a group now or a thing now, but they used to have this group of barbers that they logo or they brand was "Barbering Saved My Life."
Mm.
Literally, like barbering gave me what I didn't have. Barbering was the first thing that I was ever good at outside of street stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And once I got good at it, it became something that I became grateful for. So I showed integrity for how I move around. You know what I mean? Like the way I present myself, like everything the barbering gave to me, I try to give it back. You know what I'm saying? Like Major Kutz. Right, when I first got Major Kutz, it was just a brand name. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be Diwan the barber because everybody around me was doing their name in the barber.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I went with Major Kutz just because Major's is my last name and Kutz. Dude made the logo, it looked cool. Yeah. But after I was into it for a while, I began to try to figure out, because I listened to this dude and it's like, man, when you do a brand, your brand is supposed to be parts of you. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be giving people a part of you. That's why they come back to you. Right. It's not the service, it's what you give them, how you make them feel. So I went and broke Major down. You know what I'm saying? I thought about all the stuff that barbering has given me. So what I did with Major is I broke it up into M is for meritorious, deserving praise. A is aplomb, calm and self-confident. J is jubilant, happy and triumphant. O is omnipotent, having unlimited and very great power. R is revered, to hold in high regard. All of those feelings is what I try to give each and every one of my clients. Because I feel like that's what barbering is giving to me. And as long as I stay within the lines of giving them that, it's something that they can hold on to. Because I believe clients don't come back to you, like you don't build clientele off haircuts. Because there's somebody in a garage, in a prison cell, sitting on their grandmama's front porch or in the kitchen that can cut just as good as you or better. It's how you make people feel, what you give them. And once they become attached to you, you become a part of what they do. Like they don't go nowhere else because they want to come see you. They want the experience. I've had clients that go somewhere else and get a haircut and come back and like, oh man, I went somewhere and dude messed me up and it just wasn't your cut. And I'm looking at the haircut like,
it ain't.
He didn't really mess it
up. It ain't bad.
But then you get to realizing it's not that. It's the part of what you give them that wasn't in the cut that make them feel like it's not all the way together.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So I used to always tell the students, make sure whatever you do, you giving them a part of you. If you're doing anything for money, you're not going to respect what it is you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You'll drop it, let it go, because money come and go, especially in this.
Yeah.
Like all the students, you know what I'm saying, especially during this era where everybody see these Instagram barbers and everybody's, oh, I charge $150 and I charge $500 and I do all this. And you think it'll make somebody think you can jump in this game and become a millionaire. Strategically, sacrifice, and longevity, you know what I'm saying? Building on certain stuff, you can reach it that way. But just cutting hair, no, brother.
Yeah, the realest thing I heard, and it came from another barber, and he was saying that if you can go out and work at Walmart and they schedule you to be there from 8 in the morning to 4 in the evening, why not put that same amount of energy into your own business? Mm-hmm. Like, you got to treat it like it's a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. Like, 'cause that's why I always tell people you only going to get out what you put in. Mm-hmm. So if you got to be disciplined, that's what school teaches you. It don't really teach you how to cut. It teaches you how to be in one spot for multiple hours. Mm-hmm. And you got to be able to lock in and hone that in, and understand that if you spend 6 out of your 8 hours twirling around in your chair and you only do 2 hours worth of cutting, go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
Get some flyers. Get some business
Mm-hmm.
cards. As the old barbers, you tell me, go pound the pavement, man.
Right.
Just go talk to people.
You used to have to get out there and move around. Like, I like that you said that about just disciplining yourself to make it worth it. Like, when I first started, and I was in this for a while, and like, I used to tell the students all the time, they don't believe me because of who I am now. But I was the cliche barber. And when I say the cliche barber, Hennessy bottle up under the station, smoke weed in the car, then come back in. I was all of it. And I used to wonder how my mom and my son's mother, they used to all look like, I wish you would get a real job and stop playing around with that barber and stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is a real job. I make money. But then I got to looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I got to looking at it through their lens. And I was treating it like a hustle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I was going to the spot and hanging out with my homeboys and drinking and just staying there late and doing whatever I wanted to do. There was no discipline and no structure to what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I had to change the game plan. And once I changed it up, people said, oh, I see,
It makes a difference, man.
Yeah.
Appearance makes a difference. It's all about, like, I don't want to say tricking people, but it's all about changing people's perception. Because I worked at Great Clips for a little spell. And I used to come dressed like everybody else that was there. They would come kind of laid back, slacks and like a polo or something like that. I was like, I'm going to try something. I still wore the slacks, but I started wearing a button down and a tie. Dude that used to come to me, he came to me at least 2 months before that. He came in and saw I had a tie on and had a barber pole on it. My tip went from $5 to $25. All I did was change my shirt and my tie. It's just like, and I did that, like, and I walked around like that. People were like, where you going? Why you all dressed up? I said, why does it have to be so much of a difference when somebody put on a shirt and a tie?
Man, let me tell you, like, I didn't start putting on button-ups and ties until I was in school to be an instructor. Like, the guy who used to instruct me, he was always being there. He'd come to school tied, like, he'd be real fly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I peep game. So I started dressing like that. And, coming from school, going to the shop, I just kept on what I had on.
Yeah, I hate change.
Now, this was the thing. And it made me so mad, I locked in and continued to do it. Because I would go to the shop, and just like you said, look at him. That boy coming from court, ain't he? He got to go see his PO. You know,
court.
Yeah, and everybody, because that's the stigma in the hood. Like, if you see a black man with a suit and a tie on, you don't even think he going to go take care of business. You think he done been to the courthouse or he going somewhere because he done got in trouble. Like, I used to be so mad about it. I made sure, like, you know what, for like a year or two straight, I didn't buy no tennis shoes, no jeans, no nothing. All I bought was slacks, button downs, and it went from why he dressing like that to, oh yeah, he always dressed like that. You know what I'm saying? And I started noticing the different kind of clientele I would get.
Oh yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? Like the moms, the single moms will walk in, and you see everybody in there moving around doing their thing. They look to the most clean cut dude sitting right in the front. Boom. But that led me to moving out of there because once you change up what you got going on, then you have to change the scene.
Yeah.
Like now, I didn't fit in my environment. You know what I mean? The bow ties and the ties and the button down, they didn't fit into the hood shops no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to move and come out here, and instruction, discipline, and putting everything together has been working for me ever since.
That's what's up, man. And hopefully you can benefit from this and send some more people your way, man. And I'm definitely gonna send people your way if they on this side because a lot of people can't make it the way I'm at. So I'm always good at putting people in what I feel are quality hands.
Yeah, I mean, I need more people because I've been, like most times, it just be me. So until I just got that hiring here, this new barber. But like people ask, I don't have many barbers on retainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is anybody you can send me to? I can see you somewhere, but then you might look at me different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know a bunch of barbers, but they don't have the standards that I have. You know, and I know once you used to me, you're gonna feel some kind of way going somewhere. I know that's why you come to me. Yeah. And I just can't put you in the chair.
And that's one thing I can say. That's one thing I can say I value about the shop that I work at. Like, it's everybody eats environment. Nobody's jealous. Nobody's overly jealous, and nobody's shocking. Right. So, say I'm out like today. I have the space and opportunity to do this interview, space and opportunity to go and do a photo shoot because I trust that there's somebody in my shop that can get you where you need to be until I can get back behind the chair. And that's all I look for, man. That's what I tell students. When you go shop around before you go. You know, once you get your license, go sit down. Go be a customer for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that that's the fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
I done had at least 12 I can count easily. Hey man, Mr. Rager, you said what you said, man. That dude, he ain't helped me do nothing. He just kept asking for blueprint at the end of the week.
Yeah.
I was like,
I told me like this, man. You tell me like this. If you go into a shop, you should be interviewing them the same way they interviewing you.
ask questions, man.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta ask questions. It shouldn't be just how much is your blueprint I can pay. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't get along with people in the shop or they don't gel with how you move around, the booth rent may be $50 a week. It may seem sweet, but you can go in there and you may have some folks in there that steal clippers. You know what I'm saying? You may have some folks in there that every time he get done, he's standing at the door. You need a haircut. You need a haircut. You know what I'm saying? You have them kind of people. You know what I'm saying?
I work in them places.
It might just be an environment that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. You have to make sure you do your own due diligence because, as a matter of fact, you should interview him more than you because you're giving him money.
Yeah.
So if I'm giving you money to be here, I need to make sure that this is a space where I can grow. If I can't grow, then what am I giving you money for?
Man.
You know
a lot. It's a lot, man.
Why?
Yeah, it makes sense. And they used to call me a shop hopper because, like, for whatever reason, man, if it didn't feel right to me, I'm getting up out of there.
Right. As you
like,
should.
I'm getting up out of there, and it's because of that experience that I teach my students to, before you make a commitment, before you give anybody any money. You know, the reason I ended up in the shop that I was in because they owned the space or whatever, and he literally told me, he's like, "We'll start you out 25 this month. Next month we go 50 all the way till you get to." You building your clientele as your blueprint is going up, and then you fall on hard times. Just come talk to me. That's all. That's all he asked. Come talk with me. Be straight up with me. If you start, I've seen many barbers come in the shop, and many of them don't work.
Mm-hmm.
They get let go, or like he said, they fire themselves. Because all I ask you to be honest with me. Don't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't try to backdoor me when I'm giving you.
Right, and work. You know, you can't go in the shop and you in there all week, you twirling around in your chair and you smoking weed, and then you going to do this, and then it's out the blueprint. Oh, I ain't got it. So you done showed up late.
Every day.
5 times this week. You sat in the chair for 2 hours. You watching me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where my discernment comes from. When you come to me and be like, blueprint is slow. No, it's not slow. You just not working. That's
basically it. Man, we can sit here and talk for the rest of the day, but I know you got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. Like I said, man, it was great.
Yeah, great conversation, man. You know,
appreciate
like you said, anytime you want to do this, anytime you want to link up, we can do that.
Yeah, man, definitely. We got to link up, definitely. And we want to make that kind of at least monthly what we did at the detention center.
Yeah.
If not the same cast, we get some other people that can.
Yeah, I know she said, I don't know if you seen the message that.
Yeah, I saw the text message. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to the woman later on and see what day I might be able to go tomorrow afternoon. Because even past the haircuts, you know what I'm saying? It's just speaking.
Yeah, conversation.
One of the biggest things I got from going up there is outside of the stuff that the little boys do, you still see that they kids. Like when you take all this stuff away, you can see that they kids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, without no understanding that. Like I asked one of the little boys, I asked him if he thought he was a good person or a bad person just after he told me what he did. So with that being said, I said, do you think you're a good person or a bad person? Honestly, man, I don't even know. I said, man, that's a problem. He was like, why? I said, likely, I said, at your age right now, it's okay not to know what you want to do.
Right.
Like who you want to be and all that. I said, but you should always know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I said, because what ends up happening now, since you sitting here telling me I don't know and you did something bad, everybody around you going to judge you off what you do.
Right.
So now that they see you do something bad, they're going to look at you and say, you bad. So you did one bad thing, you don't understand that I'm really a good person that just made a mistake.
Yeah.
You go back and do something else bad and you don't know. They call you bad again. By the third or fourth time, now you just gonna accept I'm just bad.
Right.
So I'm supposed to do bad stuff. But it's not like that, you know what I'm saying? You can tell right now who you want to be, like you want to be nice, mean, say it. You have to decide that now. That way it don't put you in a place where you can make mistakes. But they really need folks to come talk to them.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. If you can, just tell people where they can follow you and how they can get in contact with you and whatever you need support in. Just
this is Mr. Majors, Diwan Majors, aka Major Kutz. You can find me on Instagram, At Major Cuts, that's MAJORKUTZ. Same thing on Facebook, same thing on Twitter. Um, you can go to my website, which is majorcuts.com. I got plenty of review videos on there. Just come check me out.
That's what's up. Y'all know where to get at me at, man. I'll put everything in the description or whatever. But this has been another one, and hopefully we'll have somebody else of this caliber to grace y'all presence again, man. Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.